What's going on, guys? Back at the works. Thought I would talk a little about my build for this. The Battle of the Coral Sea Lady Lex Memorial Group build. Being put on by the Bilge Rat, Mr. Frankie Day, and myself. This is for the guys that are building the SBD Dauntless. I notice that some of you guys are building this and you have questions as to colors and decals. And well, fellas, this plane is taken right from this. So this bomber flew off of the Lexington during that battle. So all of her colors and decals are correct. This kit was just opened. Didn't just open it, but just started to go through it the other night, and not for the faint of heart, gentlemen. This is definitely not a beginner kit. You have to follow these directions specifically in order to put this plane together. There's actually a part in here where they more or less come out and said, "We told you to follow the directions." But yes, very, very intricate model. But there was some questions as to the size of the decals, the stars that were used, and as you can see, I have to put the red dots on mine. But there was a question as to the size, the big ones or small ones. Well, all of these go on this plane. The two small stars with the two small red dots go on the side. They go on the side right there. That's what your tail should look like. Red and white stripes. Okay? This is a 30 caliber machine gun. 50 cals weren't used till afterwards. Then the two big stars on either wing up top, and then two big stars on either wing on the bottom. Okay, so that's what I have for decals, boys. And like I said, this is a ship that flew off to Lexington. They give you the names of the two crew members, and I will go over that at a later date. I figured I'd show this to you guys, and then I got some pretty cool stuff with this. They give you a brief synopsis of the battle, which I will read. Hopefully I have time for that. They give you a copy of the orders of the day. This was who was flying where and what, and who was going with who. And then on the inside, this opens up. It gives you the after report, the after action report. What got hit, what got sunk, what didn't. These two guys were responsible for either 7 or 8 Jap Zeros. The rear gunner got 3 by himself, and that was with a 30 caliber machine gun. There were 50 cals, but they were in the front. They were in the wings. They were fixed. I don't know if they were in the wings or up top. They might have been up top in front of the cockpit. I believe that's where they were. But anyway, I thought I'd do this real quick and read the synopsis of the Battle of the Coral Sea. Battle of the Coral Sea was fought May 4th through May 8th, 1942. In May of 1942, Japanese forces in the South Pacific were on the rise. Plans were drawn up for Japanese occupation of Port Moresby, New Guinea. This base was to be used as a jumping-off place for the upcoming invasion of Australia. The Americans had at this time broken the Japanese codes and felt it was imperative that an attempt be made to halt this action. The Japanese forces, commanded by Admiral Takagi, were made up of 5 groups and sailed with 2 heavy carriers, a light carrier, and 4 heavy cruisers. The Allied fleet consisted of the Admiral Fletcher in command of the carrier USS Yorktown Admiral Fitch in command of the carrier USS Lexington, and a task force of American and Australian cruisers. The Japanese were operating with the misunderstanding that the Allied forces had only one aircraft carrier in the area. When Admiral Tagagi's forces entered the Coral Sea from the west, the Americans were refueling, but fortunately no Japanese contact was made. On May 7th, the Americans located and sank the small carrier Shoho. There was much confusion by both forces, with a small group of Japanese aircraft attempting to land on the Yorktown. The battered Japanese transports returned to their bases at Rabaul to await the outcome of the carrier action. On May 8th, aircraft from both fleets sighted the opposing forces simultaneously and launched airstrikes. Neither surface fleet was within sight of the other during the entire engagement. And this is the first time this has ever happened in sea battle. In the ensuing action, the Lexington took 2 bombs and 2 torpedo hits, resulting in her loss. She didn't sink because of that. We sank her so that she wouldn't fall into their hands. And it doesn't say that here. The Yorktown was also damaged, but was able to return to Pearl Harbor for repairs. And you got to listen to this. The captain estimated repairs would take at least 3 months. 48 hours later, the ship was repaired sufficiently to return to sea. 48 hours, boys. On May 29th, she sailed to her fatal destiny in the following month's Battle of Midway. Meanwhile, American aircraft was striking and seriously damaging the carrier Shikaku. But the real losses to the Japanese forces were the 43 aircraft and their highly trained crews. These losses would be felt at the upcoming Battle of Midway. The result of this engagement were extremely important to Japanese plans for expansion in the Pacific and to American efforts to halt these actions. The Japanese were forced to abandon the Port Moresby attack and suffered the loss of Shikaku and Zuikaku for use in future operations due to lengthy repairs needed for the damages received at Coral Sea. While the Americans had lost the Lexington and the Yorktown had been damaged, they had achieved an important strategic victory by stopping the Japanese advance in the South Pacific. This battle goes down in history as the first naval operation where aircraft played the exclusive and decisive role in the outcome. That was the synopsis on what happened at the Battle of the Coral Sea. So, I will be starting this kit shortly. I've already looked at it, went through it. I got real lucky when I found this thing. Like I said, this is, well, you can't get any better than that. At least finding it. I mean, I was very happy when I saw that. And right here it says, at the outbreak of World War II, the slow but deadly Dauntless, and they got the SBD underlined, was considered by many to be obsolete. By the end of the war, this obsolete in quotation marks airplane had accounted for more enemy ships sunk than any other aircraft. Now recognized as one of the war's most important weapons, the Douglas Dauntless is a very rare museum piece. This kit represents an SBD-3 flown from VS-2 that was flown by Ensign Lepler and Gunner Army 3C Liska during the Battle of the Coral Sea. And I'm going to do a little more research on those two guys. But, yeah, so I hope that straightens out a few things for you guys on these, as far as decals. Alright, small ones on the side of the plane, the big ones go on the wings. You guys might already have yours come with the dots in them. I gotta do mine, so whatever. But yeah, there'll be more coming on this, fellas. I'm running out of time, so we're getting there with the CUDA that's coming along. But, alright, boys, I got 8 seconds. Have a nice weekend and peace out.